Small and smart steps make an empire. How can a man worth billions still live in the same house he bought in 1958? The question has puzzled people for decades. They expect luxury, yachts, and golden palaces from the second richest man in America. Instead, they find Warren Buffett driving himself to McDonald's, ordering breakfast with exact change, and returning home to a modest stucco house in Omaha, Nebraska. His secret isn't in extravagance, but in vision, the ability to see value where others see nothing, and patience where others see only panic. Buffett's story began in 1930, in the shadow of the Great Depression. Born in Omaha to Howard and Layla Buffett, Warren grew up in a household where money was scarce, but ideas were plentiful. His father was a stockbroker who later became a U.S. congressman. His mother, frugal to the bone, sometimes skipped meals so her children could eat. Young Warren absorbed two lessons: the importance of thrift and the power of opportunity. By age 6, Buffett was already an entrepreneur. He bought 6 packs of Coca-Cola for 25 cents and sold each bottle for a nickel, pocketing a profit of 5 cents. "You've got the bug," his father chuckled when Warren proudly laid his coins on the table. The money bug. But Warren's ambitions went beyond pocket change. At age 11, he bought his first stock, 3 shares of City Service Preferred, for $38 each. He watched anxiously as the price dipped to $27, then rose back to $40. Nervous, he sold. Days later, the stock soared to $200. The lesson seared into his memory. Patience pays. Years later, Buffett would joke, "I made $5 on that first deal, but lost thousands in lessons." He devoured books on investing, especially Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor. At night, while other boys listened to the radio, Warren flipped through annual reports. His idea of fun was calculating company valuations. One evening, his sister Doris teased him, "Why don't you just read a comic book like normal kids?" Warren grinned, "Because Superman won't make me rich." By high school, Buffett was running multiple small businesses. He delivered newspapers, earning more than some teachers. He installed pinball machines in barbershops with a friend, splitting the profits. When he graduated, he had saved the equivalent of $90,000 in today's money. His classmates wrote in the yearbook, "Warren will be a millionaire by 35. They underestimated him. Buffett studied at the University of Nebraska, then applied to Harvard Business School, and was rejected. Disappointed but undeterred, he enrolled at Columbia Business School, where Benjamin Graham himself was teaching. Meeting Graham was like a devout Christian meeting the Apostle Paul. Buffett recalled sitting in class, heart pounding, as Graham explained that investing wasn't about speculation, but about buying businesses cheaper than their true worth. After graduation, Buffett begged to work for Graham's investment firm. Graham initially refused. "We don't hire non-Jews," he admitted bluntly, reflecting the prejudices of the time. Buffett persisted. "I'll work for free," he pleaded. Finally, Graham relented. Working under his hero, Buffett honed his craft. But when Graham retired, Buffett returned to Omaha in 1956 and started his own partnership with $105,000 pooled from family and friends. He told them, half joking, "Don't check the stock prices daily. I'll call you if we're rich." Buffett worked out of a tiny office, scribbling notes, reading annual reports, and pounding his desk calculator. He had an uncanny knack for finding undervalued companies. One of his early successes was Sanborn Map Company, a dull business that made fire insurance maps. The stock traded cheaply because the core business was declining. But Buffett discovered the company owned a valuable investment portfolio worth more than the stock price itself. He bought aggressively and pushed management to unlock the value. His investors made a fortune. But Buffett's career wasn't without missteps. In the early 1960s, he invested in Berkshire Hathaway, a failing New England textile mill. He intended to make a quick profit. When management tried to lowball him on a deal, Buffett got angry and bought more shares out of spite, eventually taking control of the company. Later, he admitted it was his worst investment. "I should have known better," he said. "Buying a textile company in New England was like buying a boat. You're guaranteed to throw money into it." Yet Berkshire Hathaway became his investment vehicle. He pivoted from textiles into insurance, buying National Indemnity and later GEICO, the insurance company famous for its little green gecko. Insurance gave Buffett something he loved: float, the cash collected from premiums that could be invested before claims were paid. This became the rocket fuel of Berkshire's empire. As the decades rolled on, Buffett acquired businesses with simple models and durable advantages: See's Candies, Coca-Cola, The Washington Post, American Express. His philosophy was simple: it's better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. His reputation grew, and with it, a quirky fame. He remained in Omaha, avoiding Wall Street's frenzy. He still drove himself to the office. Each morning, he stopped at McDonald's for breakfast, adjusting his order based on the stock market's mood. "If it's a down day," he laughed, "I get the $2.61 special. If it's an up day, I splurge on the $3.17. He lived modestly in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. Visitors were shocked by its simplicity. One guest looked around the modest living room and asked, "Where's the mansion?" Buffett grinned. "You're standing in it." Despite his fortune, Buffett faced personal challenges. His first wife, Susie, a vibrant and politically active woman, moved out in the 1970s, though they remained close until her death in 2004. She encouraged him to become more charitable, planting the seeds of his later philanthropy. When Susie introduced him to Astrid Menks, who would become his second wife, the arrangement was so amicable that friends joked Buffett had 2 wives. He laughed along. "I've always been good at partnerships." Buffett's investing genius wasn't flawless. He missed early opportunities in tech, famously admitting he didn't understand them. He avoided Microsoft despite being close friends with Bill Gates. "I don't invest in what I don't understand," he explained. When the dot-com bubble burst in 2000, his caution looked prophetic. But even Buffett stumbled. In 2011, Berkshire invested in a struggling British supermarket chain, Tesco, only to lose over $1 billion. "Even the Oracle of Omaha makes mistakes," Buffett admitted with a smile. "But at least I eat my own cooking." His humility, humor, and homespun wisdom made him beloved. At Berkshire Hathaway's annual shareholder meeting, dubbed the Woodstock for Capitalists, tens of thousands flocked to Omaha each year. Buffett and his partner Charlie Munger fielded questions for hours. When asked how to get rich, Buffett quipped, "Spend less than you earn. Invest the rest." And don't do stupid things. Buffett's wit often disguised deep truth. Asked why he avoided luxury, he said, "If I buy a fancy yacht, it won't make me happier. But buying a Dairy Queen, that makes kids happy and me richer." In 2006, Buffett announced he would give away nearly his entire fortune to philanthropy, primarily through the Gates Foundation. It was the largest charitable pledge in history. "A society that is great is one that takes care of its weakest," he said. True to his word, he began transferring billions annually. In 2010, he and Bill and Melinda Gates launched the Giving Pledge, urging billionaires to donate at least half their wealth. Many signed on. "You can't take it with you," Buffett said, sipping a cherry Coke, "so why not do some good with it while you're still here?" Even in his 90s, Buffett continues to work from his Omaha office, surrounded by stacks of newspapers and a desk that looks more like a teacher's than a billionaire's. He reads 6 hours a day, still searching for value, still chuckling at life's absurdities. Asked about his secret, he said, "I tap dance to work." If you can't find a job that makes you want to tap dance, keep looking. Buffett's life offers more than financial lessons. It shows that greatness doesn't require extravagance, that humility can walk hand in hand with wealth, that patience can outlast panic, and that the true measure of success isn't what you keep, but what you give. He once wrote to shareholders, "Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago." Warren Buffett planted many trees, businesses, ideas, acts of generosity, and the world sits in their shade. For readers today, the message is clear. You don't need to be born rich. You don't need to live in New York. You don't even need to leave the house you grew up in. What you need is curiosity, discipline, integrity, and the courage to wait when everyone else is rushing. And if you can add a little humor along the way, say, choosing your breakfast based on the Dow Jones, you might just end up not only wealthy, but wise. As Buffett himself likes to say, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. And maybe the real secret is this. He never stopped being the boy who sold Coke bottles for a nickel, who counted his pennies, who believed that small, smart steps could build an empire. Because in Warren Buffett's world, the extraordinary is simply patience compounded.